Now, earlier this week, Dr. David Starkey and I were at a Restore Britain dinner. David is on the advisory board of Rupert Lowe's, not political party, but movement, which he hopes is going to bring together a whole load of different political forces in order to, I guess, really open that Overton window on a whole load of issues, from demography to mass immigration to even, do we reintroduce the death penalty? But something that has been incredibly difficult for Mr. Lowe since his very public fallout with Nigel Farage and Zia Youssef of Reform UK is the fact that the establishment media on the right, and by the way, that does now include GB News and Talk TV, which were previously regarded as free speech channels. I mean, I worked for both of them, now seem to be moving into a different territory where they do not want to platform, there's that term, they do not want to platform prominent critics of Nigel Farage. They seem to be becoming Reform UK propaganda outfits, which I don't think is good for anyone. Now, this has exploded over the past 24 hours because there was a big Restore Britain investigation, which GB News actually reported, which is that over 50,000 illegal migrants have been let loose on Britain's streets because the Home Office doesn't know where they are. Now, that prompted this direct challenge from Rupert Lowe. Thanks for covering our whistleblower story. I'd be delighted to come on the channel and discuss it. It's been a very long time since I was on. Basil the Great took up the story, working out that Rupert Lowe hasn't been on GB News since June, asking the question, has he been banned? I would hope not. It would be good to have him back on. Rupert said, I'd be delighted to come on if invited. I used to be a regular on Michelle Jewry, but sadly I don't get invited anymore. Not on any show. It's a shame. I enjoyed it. GB News talks a lot about free speech. Why not practice it? I think we all know why. Now, that was obviously hinting at Farage. Rupert then went on to say that he is on Talk TV regularly. And Lauren the Insider suggested that his ban may be because they know you are a threat to their propaganda and narrative being pushed by Paul Marshall. That's the owner of GB News. So much for free speech. He is just the same as Murdoch. You have the people's heart, Rupert. We love that. You put us and the country first. Now, the irony, of course, is that at the moment, GB News is caught up in its own little row with the Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, who refused to answer a question from GB News on Budget Day yesterday, prompting this outrageous on-air response from its political editor, Christopher Hope, in conversation with Martin Daubney. Watch. Dan Wootton Outspoken is available as a podcast too. So to listen or watch us on the go, wherever you are, then please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And as a personal favour to me, please rate and review, as it really helps our independent show.
I watched that press conference live. I was astonished. Yeah. The Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, simply refused once again to take a question from GB News. What are they so afraid of?
Is it my face? Am I an aggressive individual? Do I look at I'm furious about stuff? I'm cross on behalf of our viewers for not being cool, but maybe it's me. I don't know what it is. I had my hands in the air for the press conference last time when she did the pitch rolling over breakfast. Again, this time, the Chancellor looked at me twice, looked away. I think our viewers and listeners absolutely deserve answers from this Chancellor on what's going on. Why are 99% of them in our poll of thousands of viewers saying they're worse off? Why wouldn't the Chancellor ask that question? What about the nurses are standing amongst, many of whom are now on 40% tax? Would you apologise to them, Chancellor? These are the questions I would have asked her. But again, she chose not to. And I'm not sure we'll see her on the channel again for a while. And we haven't seen her. We haven't had a chance to put any of the questions that matter so much to our viewers and listeners. It is a gross insult to GB News viewers and listeners that the Chancellor is not taking our questions. Here's what happened moments ago.
I believe that I made the fair and the necessary choices given the fiscal circumstances. I'm afraid that's all that I'm sorry. I think that's all that we've got time for this afternoon. But thank you very much, everybody, for coming along, and thank you particularly for the staff here.
So then I was saying to her, will you take the question from GB News? No, no time. And I said, why not? And the question, why not, is not been answered yet. I've had a word with her team. And they're probably texting me now. But a word from their team to ask why on earth they are not taking questions from GB News viewers. We are Britain's biggest news channel since July. We deserve the respect from this government, and they're not giving it to us, Martin.
OK, but Rupert Lowe made the point directly to Christopher Hope after that. Chris, Reeves should absolutely take questions from GB News, free speech. But it's a real shame that I don't get invited on anymore. Before the Farage nonsense, I was on most days. Since I haven't been on in months. Is there a reason? I certainly have my suspicions. And he then asked directly for an explanation from either Christopher Hope or Patrick Christie's on this. He said, from daily invites to nothing at all, right after Farage tried to bury me, any explanation from anyone? So to my superstar panel, Lois Perry and Dr. David Starkey. David, this is something that really concerns me. Like, why has GB News seemed to move away from what I wanted it to be at the start, you know, when I was the launch presenter, which is that you'd have a whole load of voices on, of course, from the left, and they still have loads on from the left because they have to, you know, appease the off-communists, but also, David, from the right,
left, yeah.
You know, from the right too, you know, like, but first, by the age of 50, we've likely lost half our collagen, opening the door to aching joints, brittle bones, and tired-looking skin that ages you before your time. But there's hope. Native Path collagen peptides are helping millions refill that gap. And here's what sets Native Path apart. Just one clean ingredient. Third-party tested for heavy metals and purity. No fillers, no junk, over 5 million jars sold, and 8,000 five-star reviews. I think that says it works, right? Native Path customers are reporting stronger, more flexible joints, finally moving without pain, smoother, more youthful skin that turns back the clock, and thicker, fuller hair in as little as 14 days. Imagine waking up, feeling like yourself again, active, confident, and pain-free. Right now, visit trynativepath.com/outspoken for a special bundle deal at a fraction of the retail price, backed by a risk-free 365-day guarantee.
We have a food industry that knows nothing about health and a health industry that knows nothing about food, right? And once you really understand that, you can see why we're in the problems that we are. We watch TV and they're feeding us all these foods that are refined and processed and get us sick. And the next commercial is a commercial about a pill that we're supposed to take. The forefront of what we do here at Native Path is we try to get people off the path of what most people are doing is eating that stuff and taking those pills and get them on the path to eating, moving, and living in harmony with their biology. Collagen is, in my opinion, it's the one thing that if you take it, everything else starts to get easier or unnecessary because it's so foundational in the structure of your body. We're deficient in this very important protein that our ancestors got plenty of. So it's a big part of what I say is important when we're aging. You have to have this as part of your diet.
But act now, supply is tight and demand is soaring. This deal won't last long. Don't let another day go by feeling older than you look. Visit trynativepath.com/outspoken today, or just click on the link below this video in the description box. But now, back to the show.
Well, I mean, shall we all join in the boo-hoo fest? I am banned from appearing live on GB News.
Crazy. Why? You were on all the time.
I think I occasionally may say something that's ever such a little bit risque. And remember, they are again. Let's put a little word of defence in. I think this is a separate question. They're afraid of Ofcom, and Ofcom, of course, targets them, and much of the establishment would love to shut them down. And I think we're going to see much more of Rachel Reeves, as it were, blackballing them. There's a very real reason for this. This is a government that now can't actually do anything, and it's a complete financial bind. So what we're going to see from this Labour government is essentially gesture politics, and the left hate GB News, so there'll be as much attempt at making their life as difficult as possible, and that will apply right across the political spectrum. The other question, I think, of Rupert, I think it is, to be blunt, there is an element of GB News which has become a reform propaganda channel.
Yes.
And I think it is a mistake. I think that because what Rupert is trying to do, if I can just elaborate a little bit and slightly correct what you were actually saying, what Rupert is trying to do is to establish a broad, he calls it a movement, and he would hope that it will become the foundation of a reunion of the right.
Yes.
Because we will never, even even with around about 30%, which is where Reform is polling at the moment, we are not guaranteed of a clear parliamentary majority. There has to be a reunion of the right. I think why I help Rupert, why I help Ben Habib, why I help Nigel, and why I help even the Conservative Party, although they don't very often ask for it. And why I help all of them is I think it's going to come up from the bottom. It's going to come from that broad demand. We want this terrible government out. We want our country back. We want reconstruction. And there is fundamentally a very broad agreement on policy, on the essential steps of policy. And the disputes of leaders, the petty faction struggles, the alignments and whatever, we hope will dissolve. And that I think, is something that, were I managing GB News, I would be profoundly aware of. And I think they have it. Because they're the only channel that is directly on our side, and I don't really count Talk TV, it's too small. It's not being dismissed, but it is too small. They now have increasingly numbers on their side. They have a profound responsibility in this process. And I would like to see them, again, grow up, stop being sectarian, start assuming that proper unifying role.
Well, I totally agree. But Lois Perry, let's just tackle what Rupert Lowe is totally hinting at, though, which is that Nigel has been directly responsible for the ban. That's clearly what he's saying.
Right. Well, number one, Rupert Lowe is not banned at all. And in fact, Ben Leo did a tweet earlier on today saying that in the last 5 weeks, and he's got receipts apparently, Rupert has been invited on no smaller than 3 times, 3 separate occasions, and has declined the invitation on all 3 occasions. That tweet is on Twitter right now. So your guys might want to follow that up with him.
Facts, you see, facts
well,
work.
I did see that, though. Rupert said that it was an invite to go on at midnight.
But Rupert Lowe did not qualify that when he said I've been banned. I mean, I'll tell you, I haven't been on since last year, and I've been told, this is why I find all of this quite bizarre. I've been told that a lot of that is to do with how close I am to Nigel and to the Reform Party. So, and that I might say outrageous things about climate change or whatever, for example. So, I mean, there is a possibility that I'm having a meeting that might be resolved next month, but who knows? So, but I mean, it's very interesting, Rupert Lowe talking about Nigel burying him. Jesus wept. If anyone tried with every single ounce of their might to bury anyone, it was Rupert and Ben Habib with Nigel Farage. And there was a period.
But that's not fair, though, is it, Lois? No. But that's not fair because, and this is what we can never forget, okay? And remember, I like Nigel as well. Reform have the thinnest skin in British politics.
Who does?
Reform. They do. They have the thinnest skin in British politics. They honestly do.
No, we're all
and Rupert Lowe was reported to the police by Reform UK for hurty words. That happened, Lois. He had to face a police investigation. The cops came to his house in large numbers and confiscated his guns. Now,
but you know that
we
Rupert
can't
Lowe
just forget
colluded
that.
with the Daily Mail to basically say that he was resigning just at the point where things were really, really starting to go very well for Reform Party and Nigel as potential Prime Minister.
Yeah, I wish.
Look, I don't want to get into it for tat, but I'm just saying I don't think there's a ban on Rupert Lowe. I really don't.
David, come in.
I just saying, please, can we stop washing dirty linen?
Yeah, okay,
yeah.
Fair enough.
It really, that we have real enemies, real enemies. And they are, as Dan was saying at the beginning, they are the real enemies of our nation. This sort of this is playground squabbling.
But David, it's happening in America too, isn't it? I mean, it's really happening in America. If you look at this,
we must stop it.
Yeah,
it distresses me.
Yeah. No, well, I think very good point.
I've been told off by Dr.
No,
Starkey,
I think we both
I
have.
enjoy being told off by Dr. Starkey,
and I agree, but I think the point that I was just making is that I understand that for Rupert, once a police investigation is put forward and there's no apology or anything like that, I understand that it's difficult to move on from that. As far as I'm concerned...
All a mess. It's a mess.
Yeah, it is. As far as I'm concerned, though, and I'm very clear on this, I'm not party political at all. And if Nigel wanted to come on Outspoken, he would be very welcome. But it is Reform who told me that you had to make a choice. You know, you had to make a choice. You were either pro-Rupert or you were pro-Reform. And I think that was really bad. And I couldn't support the police investigation into Rupert Lowe. I simply couldn't do that. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.